Today, we are going to be talking about the Celtic cross. I am so excited to be sharing this spread with you. This spread is the very first spread that I learned when I was learning the tarot. So it has a very special place in my heart. Who am I? I'm Elizabeth, and I teach you how to connect with your deck so you can build your spiritual confidence, listen to your intuition, and read the tarot with ease. So why do I think learning the Celtic cross is an important spread for you to learn? The reason I think it's important is because when you first start to read, especially if you're reading for someone else, but sometimes even when you're reading for yourself, you can feel really anxious, and having a strategy, something that you can lean on, especially when you're sitting in front of a client, can be so helpful because it helps you to have a calmness. You have a little roadmap of how you're going to do your reading. And if you vary from that roadmap as you get into it and you start listening to your intuition and you start listening to spiritual messages or connecting with the energy of the client, then that's good, because it means that you will start to have a really strong sense of being able to build your confidence and get your intuition flowing. And at the same time, be able to lean on that strategy of reading the Celtic cross. So we're going to be looking at having a little quick look at the pictorial key to the tarot, which is Arthur Waite's book where the Celtic cross was first mentioned. And we're also going to have a quick look at my ebook that I've put together that goes over the Celtic cross for you in detail. And there'll be links to those down in the comments. So don't forget to check the comments, the description box. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell so you never miss another one of my uploads. Let's spin the camera around and I will see you in a moment. Let's have a look at the Celtic cross. I can't wait to show you this spread. I've spent a lot of time looking around online, and there are so many different versions of this spread. It is so famous. But Arthur Waite, although he says he didn't invent it, he's the first person to write about it. So I thought I'll step back into his pictorial key to the tarot, which is the book that came out with the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck when it was first released in 1906. And I'll give you a little feel of Arthur Waite's intention for this spread. And I'm also going to add a little bit of a modern twist just to make it a little bit easier for you to follow through with in terms of using for your reading. Why do I think this is such an important spread for you to use? And my main reasoning for teaching it to you is that particularly when you first start reading, you sit down in front of a client and you can just be so anxious. And if you have a process that you use to read, you will find that you can just settle into that process and it'll help you calm your nerves so you can sort of open yourself up to taking on the energy or taking in the energy of the client you're reading for, and also to tune into the universal energy and really be in a space where you can even hear your own messages. So let's have a look inside. Inside here you can see there's little outlines of all the cards. And then right at the back, we've got a whole section on different spreads. And then there's this section on the Celtic cross, which I've had a little look at. Now, when you're actually reading the Celtic cross, Arthur Waite wants you to spend a little bit of time choosing your significator. He actually writes quite a lot about this. And he says that if you're reading for yourself or for a man who's over 40 years, you should choose a knight. If you're reading for a person who is under 40 years. Now, I don't know where this 40 years comes from. If somebody knows where it comes from, please tell me in the comments. I'm still reading, doing lots of reading. It's really interesting. There's lots to read about the tarot, and every person has an opinion, and getting to that real truth of where things come from takes a little bit of time. So if you're reading for a male under 40 years, it's a king. If you're reading for a woman over 40 years, it's a queen. If you're reading for a woman under 40 years, it's a page. You select wands if the person has a fair skin, yellow or auburn hair, and blue eyes. If the person has light brown hair and grey blue eyes and fair skin, you would select cups. Swords if the person has brown hair and hazel or grey eyes, and pentacles for anyone with dark brown, black hair, and sallow or swarthy skin. So you can see that it's really dated. And we have to give Arthur Waite a little bit of poetic license here. It was 1906. The world was very, very different. So although often these ideas of allocating different people's different attributes to different arcanas in the deck, we don't tend to do that now. And I think because we've mixed so much, it's just not relevant. I don't think we think about that sort of thing anymore. He also goes on to say, if you don't want to do that, you can choose a trump or major arcana card or a minor arcana card that has meaning for the reading. If the reading's about finance, you should choose the Justice card as the significator. And so he's quite specific about choosing the significator. I'm not going to go fishing through my deck looking for particular cards to do all of that with, but I thought I'd talk to you about it anyway, because then that gives you choice as to what you might like to do. So I'm just going to shuffle my deck. I'm going to use the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and I hope you like my reading cloth. This reading cloth, the right reading cloth will come past you. This one came past me, of all places, in the Body Shop. The girl actually offered it to me. She said to me, "Are you buying your hand cream for yourself or for a gift?" And I said, "Well, it just sort of depends." And she said, "Well, we are offering gift wrapping using vintage scarves for $5. And I thought, oh, vintage scarf for $5. I'm going to have a look. She opened the box, and this one was with all the scarves, and this one was sitting on the top. So I was clearly meant to say yes. And so I got her to wrap my hand cream in it, and it has been just beautiful. And I always put a scarf down to read. It just protects your cards. I lost a really beautiful deck of cards I'd really connected with because I put them down in moisture and I didn't realise, and I packed them all away and they all stuck together and it was not good. So we're going to use the Radiant Rider-Waite in a mini deck, and hopefully I can fit all of the cards into the screen so you can see what we're doing. So he would say, pick your significator and then shuffle the cards and split the deck in 3. So what we might do is shuffle the cards and then pick our significator. And he says, keep the cards face down. So here's our oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. So I'll teach you all how to do your, calculate your birth card. I do that in my free course as well, which is inside my free membership community. So if you've not joined my free member community, please go down into the description box. It's underneath this video. You just click the name of the video. It'll open up the description box. And in there are links to all sorts of goodies, including my free member community. And once you get in there, there's a free course in there called Connect with Your Deck, and it has some goodies in there for you to do. And one of those, I'm pretty sure, is how to calculate your birth card. So the Emperor, that's really significant because the Emperor is my birth card. So That's pretty amazing. He then says, choose a card that covers you. And this card is about adding to the unconscious challenges that you might be feeling at the time. So let's shuffle the deck again. I've chosen my significator, or the deck has chosen it for me, which is pretty amazing. And then we're going to split the deck 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and usually then you might say something like, which pile do you want to pick up first? So I'm going to pick up the center pile, then the right pile, then the left pile. What crosses me? Ooh, that's interesting. 2 of Cups. Sorry, what covers me? Then the next card you would put down is the card that crosses you. So this is you. This is your immediate challenge, might be unconscious, might be conscious. And then this is what crosses you. This is what is giving you a real challenge at this time. Then you would lay down what crowns you. And I'm using, again, Arthur Waite's terms. So this is your conscious. This is your conscience. And we're asking, oh goodness, I meant to mention, we're asking about the lockdown. So we're asking about, how am I feeling in this lockdown? Already, you know, I'm a bit chaotic. How am I feeling in this lockdown? Given, I'm just going to create a little bit more space here, because I think we're going to have trouble fitting all the cards in, but we'll see how we go. How am I coping in this lockdown? How am I coping in this lockdown? What do I need to know about coping in this lockdown? It's good if you can ask a question that isn't a yes-no question. I mean, not that you can't ask the tarot yes-no questions, but to me, the tarot wants to tell a story. So the more you can ask an open question, the more value you'll get from your reading. So what crowns you? What is beneath you? Card 4. What is beneath you? So this is your unconscious. And then we want to place the what is behind you card. Now, I was perplexed that he had the what is behind you card here, because to me that's past. And I've always read past, present, future. And I've always taught past, present, future. And I thought, Arthur Waite, what are you doing? So I did some deeper reading, and it would seem that if the person in the card is facing right, you would put it on this side. If they're facing left, for example, the Strength card, you would put it on this side. If they are facing forward, you can choose which side. Now, I'm going to choose which side, because actually it doesn't really matter what side you put the card on. When you think about it, the layout of the cards, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to read the position of the card rather than so much looking at, well, you look at what the card is, but it doesn't really change what cards surround it, whether it sits here or here, really. So I'm going to put it here because the Emperor is looking forward. So this is what's behind me. This is what's in front of me. So my future. And that's the Celtic cross, and that's the present. Then we want to look at the future, which is the staff. So we're going to put down you. So this is me right now. This is me and how I'm feeling right in this moment, and what my future potentials might be for me. Then your house. These are Arthur Waite's names. Your house. So this is your immediate environment. What's going on right now? What's going on in your environment right now? Your hopes and fears. And then what will come? Okay. Now, can we see everybody? I'm looking at my phone. I've got my phone balanced above everything just to make sure I can see everything. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read the center. Now, whether sometimes people have just 2 cards like this, but Arthur's saying he'd like a covering card as well. So we've put that down. It's really up to you how you want to read. So if we have a look here, this is me. So I'm strong. I'm strong. Sometimes I can be a bit stubborn, and I take decisive action. That's me. I mean, when I first found out that the Emperor was my birth card, I was like, I don't know, is that me really? Am I really the Emperor? But yes, I am the Emperor. I'm quite a strong person. In fact, sometimes people don't see my vulnerability. So I'm definitely the Emperor. And I'm not feeling very strong at the moment, I must say, with this lockdown. It's really knocked me around terribly. And mainly because I think I've got a bit of PTSD floating around. I hate to self-diagnose, but I've got a little bit of PTSD floating around because we've had lockdown in Melbourne before and it's been pretty full on. So this is what covers me. So this is relationship. This is emotional connection. That's what the 2 is about, balance. And this is here, the emotional connection. And this to me is Prince Charming. He is at the moment really supporting me, and he's really supporting me to be able to bring you videos, even in lockdown. In fact, it's really funny. We've been working together really, really hard on filming at the moment, just to kind of distract ourselves out of this lockdown. Because, well, what else is there to do? In Melbourne, when you have a lockdown, you have a real lockdown and everything's very locked down. So that's what covers me. That's what protects me. That's what's there for me. And unconsciously, I know it's there as well. What crosses me? What are you up against? Putting myself out there. I've only just talked about the Magician card in detail. Really harnessing my energy, my soul energy, my spirit energy that's inside my body, and channeling it out there into the world and recognizing that it's one and the same. So yes, I would say that really is what's crossing me at the moment. I am struggling. We would then read this section first. So we're going to read the vertical spread first. So we then go to what is conscious up here. And again, consciously, I think I can really get in there and make this happen. Consciously, I feel strong. Unconsciously, so what is beneath me is this. I've had experiences in the past where I've done really well. So it's interesting that this is showing a lot of strength. And I wouldn't say that the cards are wrong. I don't feel it, but at the same time, I wouldn't say the cards are wrong. So then card number 5, which we've placed here, and I think it's good. Look, Arthur, I know you want us to swap these depending upon what's behind us, but for people who are starting out, I think stick with this. We can pull any cards from anywhere to read them together in the Celtic Cross. Know that this is card 5 and this is card 6. Card 5 is the 3 of Pentacles. So what's behind me? I've worked really hard, and maybe sometimes I haven't recognized. I see this card very much as it takes an army. You can't do this on your own. You need other people to help you. 3 of Pentacles. I have probably not had a great lot of success with bringing other people in to help me with my business or in my life in general. I've found it to be probably not great. But that's okay, because I know who I can trust, and my future, interesting, is looking at really this idea of getting caught up in a bit of a struggle. And we know 5 of Wands is about having a struggle that is all about not winning. You're actually in an even battle. You can see everybody here is in an even battle. So my future is looking like being a bit of a struggle. And I know why. It's because this lockdown is really, really challenging my sense of self and my strength. So that's my present. So in my present, I have got a lot of strength in myself, people who I can rely on. But my challenge is putting that strength out there through the magician. In the past, I've worked really hard, and because I'm struggling, perhaps I'm going to find that I'm going to be really in the thick of it, And of course, we are in the thick of it with this lockdown. So that's my present. We look at the whole spread and we look at the cards. Then we read the staff. And in the staff, we've got you. So what's happening, and this is future potential. So what's happening for me? I'm really feeling it. I'm not feeling great. But help is right here. So we know with 5 of Pentacles, this is about, there's the church window and the lights are on. All you have to do is reach out for the help that you need. But you have to reach out for it. And perhaps I have to recognize that although I'm strong, I need to recognize that that 2 of Cups is really significant in helping me to put myself out there with the magician. The next card is your house. And you can see that I feel shackled, really, really shackled. And that's because I'm locked up and I don't cope well with being locked up. And I think, if this was our first lockdown, I'd probably be like I was in the first lockdown, yippee, like we had party at home and I gained weight. And we watched lots of telly and stayed up late and did all those things. But when you get down to lockdown number 3 and you know that it's potentially going to be fairly long, you start to feel like you're shackled. But actually, we know the Devil card is about throwing those shackles off. You can see that the chains, they could just lift those chains off if they wanted to and walk away from the Devil. And so this is about me saying to myself, well, Elizabeth, you're a strong person. We look at this vertical reading. You're a strong person. You've worked hard in the past, and maybe you might have had some trouble with the people that you've worked with, but you need to be careful that you're not heading into this immediate present of being in the thick of it. The next card is hopes and fears. You hope to be successful. And what will come? Well, the Queen of Cups is water of water. So it's saying I'm going to be highly emotional. And it may well be because of this here, this being in the thick of it with this lockdown. And oh my goodness, I do hope it doesn't go too long. But it is indicating to me that my future is highly emotional. It is the future of the Queen and being making emotional decisions and being in my feminine power, but I just need to be mindful that I'm not too focused in on how difficult this lockdown is. So let's have a look at some cards. So we look at this whole staff here. What do we see from this whole staff? What I see is I'm looking at not recognizing perhaps that things are going to be okay. And maybe I'm overreacting. I mean, there are many people in a worse position than me with this lockdown. So maybe I need to also think about having some balance. I need to think about how I can cast off the shackles to realize the success that will be here, but I just need to be careful that I manage my emotion. And if we look at the whole spread, there is such strength. It's just me being in this position where I'm perhaps not channeling my energy well. And I know that's to do with the lockdown. I know that for sure and certain. So if we look at card number 4, what is beneath you here? And card number 9, which is your hopes and fears. Really, if I'm honest, I'm in a good place because I'm able to take the lead. I'm able to be successful, and I hope to be successful, and I have strength here through this vertical reading that gives me that strength of this pentacle, this strength to be able to achieve my hopes and fears in this pentacles card. If we look at 6 and 10, so 6 is what is before you and your and what will come. So we're looking at a bit of strife here and feeling a bit emotional. I'm feeling that now. I don't really, I'm a bit worried that we're looking at this for a little bit of time yet. So I'm not sure. And again, it's so hard to read for yourself. But if I think about the lockdown, it's not surprising that that's what these cards are indicating. Getting a little bit caught up in the chaos and not getting anywhere and feeling a little bit like you're running around in circles and getting quite emotional about it. 7 and 10. So 7 and 10 is you and your future, what will come. So here, again, we're looking at being in, and again, these are just suggestions of cards you can read together. So being in this place where you are not recognizing that the help is right there and getting super emotional about it. So just being mindful, Elizabeth, that you've got to manage your emotion. You can see that a mile off. Here we are in my house. I think I'm shackled, and I kind of am, but I can cast those shackles off at any time, because just because I can't leave home doesn't mean to say that I can't still be getting on with it and having a great time in whatever I'm doing in my life. And then the last one is 3 and 10, which is your conscious and your ultimate what will come. So you're strong. You are strong. So yes, you might be emotional. Yes, the Queen of Cups, Water of Water, you might be super emotional, but you do have underlying strength. Consciously, you are strong. So you know that you can move through what's going on right now. And it could be quite a few months. I'm actually quite concerned. It could be quite a few months before we're allowed out again. And I need to look at how I can make the most of it and plan for what's going to happen in the months ahead, especially once the lockdown is relieved. Perhaps we might, rather than waiting, make hay while the sun shines and do something really exciting. So that is the Celtic cross. So I've shown you Arthur Waite's layout and some of his ideas about how you would be doing this spread. And I have also added in some ideas of cards you might read together to help you interpret the spread. It's really up to you how you want to read this spread. I think it's so helpful to you, especially as a new reader. And don't be frightened to be creative with it, because lots of people are, and they make it their own. And I think if you can come up with a spread that you've made your own, that's a variety or a variation on this spread, that's even more powerful, because ultimately it's about reading the messages from the cards. This is just a tool. This is just one tool. There are many more spreads that I'm going to show you. Some developed by Arthur Waite, others developed by other very famous people who've written about the tarot. And I'm sure there will be one that you will really fall in love with, that you'll use as your go-to spread when you're doing a reading. Now, if you have a look in my Celtic Cross workbook, I'll just give you a big quick whiz through it. Here, I've got it in. Now, this is, for those of you in Australia, this is a book I got from Officeworks. I love these and I wish they'd do more with them. It's a bit like one of those books where you can put the pages in. You can click the pages in. I can't remember what they're called. This is you can get plastic pockets, which I actually like because it preserves the workbooks as I print them out, so I don't have to keep printing them out if I want to show it to you. But you can get them where they have Happy Planner and I think there's another brand. I can't think of it. If I remember the brands, I'll put the links in the comments. But you can actually hole punch your pages and thread them in and take them out, which is, you know, awesome. I love them. I use notebooks a lot, but I'm really coming across to this way of doing things because it makes it so easy. But this is the Celtic Cross. So we've got the welcome page. We've got a little bit about open and closed questions in there, and why I think the Celtic Cross is such a popular and valuable layout to learn. This is the dot grid paper that goes all the way through that you can use to draw, and if you're going to draw, I'll show you. Here they are. I've got symbols for you in here that you can use to fill in these boxes when you lay out your cards. So you've got the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress. You've got all the cards here, and they're all different symbols that you can draw, or you can make up your own symbols. You don't have to use mine. So we've got the cross and the wand, so the present and the future, and a description of the Celtic Cross spread. Then it takes you through the spread, recording it, how to do your spread data, looking at each individual card. You've got some questions and you can put your symbol in each box. You've then got the layout of the spread and how the cards interact, and suggested cards to read together. Then you can see here I started. You start with you and your challenge. You then read the vertical spread, the horizontal spread, you read the whole cross. You then read the staff and interpret the staff as what it means. And of course I've got dot grid pages here for you to draw if you need extra space. Then we've got the combinations of cards that I suggested for you. And each one of these you can write about, and then bringing everything together, some questions to actually help you, and then just the copyright at the back, some questions to help you make sense of what you've just read, to bring it all together like I did. So that is the Celtic Cross workbook that is available in my Etsy shop. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed making it and doing the reading. I had a little bit of insight for myself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video and online. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell, and go down into the comments and join my free community. And I'll have some other links there for you as well if there's anything that you'd like to purchase. So things like the pictorial key to the tarot and the little miniature deck that I used if you're interested in those. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.